Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever with your boy Sophisticated Jerk, Amazing and KC Fred. So, man, the movie that we reviewing today, man, we took it to some more sci-fi. So the movie today is Megan 2.0. So let me go ahead and pull up the slides and get a breakdown. So the quick plot on this one, Megan 2.0 is a 2025 American science fiction action film written and directed by Gerard Johnston from a story he co-wrote with Akila Cooper. And the plot again is 2 years after Megan's rampage, her creator Gemma resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, the military-grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole Megan's underlying tech. So the director, again, Gerard Johnstone. I keep on saying Johnson. So produced by Jason Blum, James Wan, Alliston Williams. And the cast on this, Allison Williams as Gemma, Violet McGraw as Katie, Amy McDonald as Megan, Brian Jordan Alvarez as Cole, Ivana as Amelia, Hugh Coles as Ridley, Aristotle as Christian, and Jermaine Clement as Alton. So, all right, man, we're going to go ahead and play the trailer on this one. Then we'll go ahead and jump in the rating. I'm definitely interested to get y'all take on this one. So let me go ahead and start the trailer, then we'll jump into that.
How do I say goodbye?
I'll admit, there were some bugs in my programming. It's hardly fair to blame me for that.
So hard to say goodbye.
But one thing hasn't changed. I will do whatever it takes to protect Katie. What the hell is this? You put me in this plastic Teletubby?
Prove you can be trusted, maybe we'll give you an upgrade.
Mrs. Forrester, we have a problem. We're hunting an autonomous android named Amelia. She was built using your design for Megan.
How's this possible? You deleted it.
Apparently you didn't. Nothing in our arsenal can stop her. She's gone rogue, killing anyone who's contributed to her creation.
I think I did it again.
And you and Katie are next.
I know how to stop Amelia. She's getting more powerful. Soon she'll be the most dangerous weapon on the planet. Put me in a body and I'll help you stop her.
You remember what happened last time. You threatened to rip out my tongue and put me in a wheelchair.
I was upset.
Look, she wants to help us. Everyone deserves a second chance.
You would like us to rebuild a deranged robot in order to catch another one.
Would you prefer I gave you a printout that you can read at your own pace?
Okay, Megan. Time to give you an upgrade. Anything you'd like to add?
I want to be stronger, faster. Hey, so remember the time I strangled you and set the lab on fire? I want you to know that won't happen again.
Thank you so much.
And while you're at it, make me taller. All right, meat sacks. Let's get to work.
Well, look who came out to play.
I was programmed to protect Katie. The only question is, are you going to stand in my way? Hold on to your vaginas.
I don't care if she did kill 4 people. She is a smoking hot warrior princess.
I'll make you a deal. You can kill Gemma, but don't touch Katie.
Megan.
All right, let me pull up the rating scale. Sorry, matter of fact, we're gonna go with amazing first. What's your rating for this movie?
7.5.
Damn, okay. So amazing got it at very good. Sit with the 7.5. Casey Fred, man, what's your rating for this movie?
Woo! I gave it a 6.
You gave it a 6, so you're in between average and good.
Yeah.
Man, I got this at a 7.1, so I have it a very good territory too. So, all right, well, we'll go ahead. We're gonna kick it off to Amazing first, since she was the highest.
Okay, so I didn't, and I missed it. It may have said it. I don't. What is this classification? Is it class? What is it classified as?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. I found it like so hilarious. Like, so definitely sci-fi, but on like comedy also. So I gave it, I just thought everything, like, there were so many funny parts in it, but also with the, AI piece on, there's just so many AI movies out there where AIs are taking over and they're terrible, which I think AI is can be scary. But this I just thought was so funny. Like they literally were like putting in all of these little just like comedic sarcasm, and Megan was so sarcastic. I thought it was hilarious. I thought that I would definitely recommend the movie to people. The plot and storyline, I like the way. So I actually have not seen Megan 1.0, but I thought they gave enough information that you knew kind of what was going on from Megan 1.0 to Megan 2.0. Like you obviously knew that she went rogue and killed people trying to protect Katie. It got brought up several times during Megan 2.0. Some of the scenes I liked was when Megan told Gemma, like, get over it. You're the one who programmed me. I was literally just doing what you told me to do, which is kind of, I feel like the main bullet point in AI movies is it ends up being the AI just does what people tells it to do, and then as it advances. So I thought that was a good scene. I did also like as far as plot and storyline, I like the way Megan, she had the humor, she had the sarcasm, but it was how the piece she was learning was really being right from wrong, and that loyalty to Katie, but also ultimately just doing the right thing, which comes at the end when she basically sacrifices herself to do what's right, but really I kind of felt like, okay, she's coming back one way or the other. So I thought that was kind of just like a little funny thing at the end when she pops in on the computer. I did find a couple I found, which it showed in the preview. I cannot think of the guy's name, but when Megan wakes him up and was like, I'm sorry for like trying to kill you, and puts her hand on his hand and he's like, thank you. That I thought that like was so hilarious because it was creepy. Like if you could imagine waking up to Megan after she like legit tried to kill you. So I thought that was good. The other scene that I just thought was super funny was when Gemma was kind of considering her life choices on what a terrible mother she was. And she starts singing the woman's verse. I think it was the woman's verse song. I thought that was hilarious. So I thought that was good. She's like, don't go to the chorus. Don't go to the chorus. I just thought it was so funny. Like it was definitely obviously sci-fi, but it was also funny. And it really, I thought Katie's like her as an actress was so good. And it really looked like her and Megan just have like this deep like friendship and love for each other. So I thought that was good. I thought it was kind of a twist the way the boyfriend was kind of involved in it, because I really did think at one point, okay, Megan probably planned this whole thing and, to get back and everything. So I thought that was a good twist. If I was a director or producer, what would I do differently? I honestly can't really think of anything I would do differently, because like I said, I didn't watch 1.0, but I thought it gave enough information that you could easily watch 2.0 with. I do want to watch 1.0, but I don't think it was necessary. And I like when they just give enough information that you don't necessarily need to go back and watch it. That's it for me.
We'll toss it over to Casey Fred for his rating. His breakdown.
All right, I gave it a 6. So
Ooh.
And the reason why I gave it a 6 is honestly, this is supposed to be sci-fi, but if you get beyond the two, basically Megan and Medea, who are the robots, it just didn't really feel like sci-fi to me. It felt more like um, just like you said, comedy and stuff, and then more action because of those two, of not only how they were killing people but also how they was at the very end, how they was fighting against each other. Would I recommend this movie to anyone? I would definitely say yes, but I don't think I would pay money to go to the movie theater to go see it. That's one of another reasons why I didn't feel like I could really raise it up. It's definitely one of those cool movies that you don't mind watching, which is why it is on Netflix. And so it's just like I appreciated that, but no, there's no red carpet for me or me talking about, hey, let's go out here and go spend some hard cash money on Megan too. That's that just wasn't it. At least not for me. And then as far as things uh, about the plot and the storyline, I thought it was cool. Um, I do remember seeing Megan. It did come out a while ago and everything, and it reminded you of a dial. And then here on 2.0, it's almost like now, just kind of like the way Katie grew up. Here it is. It felt like Megan had grew up. So now she's taller, she's wiser, she's stronger, and like I said, now she's able to do more than what she did in the very first movie. So I did see that as far as what they're saying 2.0. And they had to do that because Amelia, I'm not going to lie, she was literally being used by the government to really do secret command missions. And so for Megan to be able to get to that point, to be able to fight her, they had to go ahead and really, in so many ways, start from scratch, which is kind of like what they did. So I really kind of like that. The humor, as far as them putting in the little, I don't know what you call those things, tofu babies or those little troll babies, or I don't even know what it was called, but I mean that was hilarious because then it turned into looking like a cartoon feature that you see so many movies from. So that there was a lot of laughter and stuff like that, and I can see a lot of kids buying that, but I can't see anybody in their right mind during Christmas buying a Megan 2.0. I'm sure they did, but that's a little scary. That's like buying a Chucky or something like that. So, I really kind of was like, no, thank you. But as far as scenes was concerned, I really do like the character development of how they were trying to force a family together as far as Jenna, Katie, and Megan. But then at the end of the day, when they realized lives were on the line and people could really get hurt and flat out killed, it seemed like all three of them saw the value in each other and realized, you know what? Megan's not that bad. Jenna's not that bad. Katie's not that bad. And it felt like they came together for one cause. And that was all of them, really, including her workers, and that was to be able to go against Amelia, this super robot that, like I said, the government had, pulled and got together. I think what got me so bad was when it came to anything I would change. I love the fight that was between Amelia and Megan. I kind of wish that, of course, Megan ultimately prevailed, but she also sacrificed herself at the main, in order to be able to kill her. But somehow she had a backup. So she was able to be on a computer. And of course, next thing you know, it kind of was like, oh, there might really be a Megan 3. You never know. But I really thought it would have been cool somehow if Amelia would have had a backup too, as the credits ran and be like, I see you again type of thing. That would have been really cool. That probably would have been the only thing I would have changed because that fight scene between those two was really excellent. And of course, robots going against each other is a totally different um, level when it came to how fast these robots actually kill humans. I mean, it was just like no contest. and slice, dice, done, But when it came against these two, well, now that's a totally different game. And even Megan, who was getting tore up, she had to keep bringing her mouth back up and stuff like that, which I thought was hilarious. She never gave up, which so many times humans do. But Megan, she wasn't programmed that way. And so she kept going. And the first thing she always kept in the back of her mind was Katie. I got to protect Katie. And I just thought that was really cool. Like I said, I gave it a 6. I thought it was good, but not like the kind of good I would want to be able to just see a couple of times like classic movies. And it definitely wasn't good enough for me to be like, hey, let me spend hard cold cash on it. So that's one of the reasons why I left it at 6. And so that's my take on it.
All right, all right. So my rating, I gave it a 7.1, which was in a very good territory. And the reason why I gave this a 7.1, man, I really like the movie, man. I think they did a good job balancing sci-fi with comedy. So it was like almost like a sci-fi comedy. And I think it's rare when people could bridge those two gaps. Cause like what Amazing was saying, I think they did like a lot of timely humor. The sarcasm was just hilarious. And then I like the fact, cause me either, I didn't see Megan 1.0 or the first one. And then typically, when people do a sequel, it just drops off tremendously. So the fact that this one could stand alone, but you get enough of the backstory that you're like, oh, okay, and it still be a good movie. That's why I was like, I got to give him some props because, man, typically when you do a sequel, especially in a sci-fi, man, it unless you write the story to connect like that, it's like typically, man, they just fall so short where it just seems generic or it just seems like, man, they just trying to milk this for some money and stuff. But I like how they came up with the whole concept and stuff. So yeah, I think they did a good job, man. Like I said, I thought it was hilarious, and I do like sci-fi, and especially with the AI just getting so much push, it's just like, oh damn, you kind of look at this stuff, it's like, damn, can robots really be taking people up? So I like the spin, like how they have the robot actually, looking after the humans. But what like I like what Amazing was saying. I think one thing like as humans we need to like kind of understand is like they follow everything to the literal sense. So that's where you see them like go crazy. We're looking at it like, oh man, what's wrong with these robots? They like, nah, you said do this at all costs. So that's that's what be messing us up when we be designing stuff. Like you got to create all those nuances and stuff. But I like the fact that like Megan was always finding ways to adapt and circle back and kind of learn and stuff. Because it seemed like she was trying to learn like emotion and stuff like that. Whereas before she was just like stone cold with it. So like when the girl was explaining to her like, right from wrong and stuff, that's where she was picking up on new things. But she still, had that robotic side. Cause like I do like the scene Amazing pointed out where she was covering over dude just looking all crazy and stuff. He was just scared because, they still remembering her from like trying to slaughter everybody. So he was just like, oh, thanks. So when she's trying to comfort people, she still had that hard exterior, sarcastic, kind of like behavior and stuff. So yeah, that's what made it so funny. Because even the part where she was just like talking to Gemma, she was like, "Well, you're like moderately attractive." So she reminded me like like little kids how they just like they'll say everything like if they see something out of the norm they're gonna say it right then and there, so they're just so like truthful and stuff. So that's what she reminded me of, just like no filter and stuff. So yeah, I just thought that whole aspect was funny. And I did like the fact that because typically in a lot of like sci-fi movies you could kind of already tell who the villain was. So for the boyfriend I didn't really catch that whole spin on this whole movie and stuff, how Amelia was actually like, kind of robotic. Somebody was controlling her and to find out that it was him and stuff. So, and then I like how the end, how she kind of like separated and became herself. So like I said, overall, I like the movie. Actually, this one, I would go pay to see this in a movie theater. So I actually, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I could actually see myself paying for this one. I don't know about no part 3, because that's gonna be a stretch trying to make that one. So I think they did. Part 2 definitely would have went to go see it, but yeah, third one couldn't
normally
do
I
it.
have pushback, so if you guys would have went to an 8, then I would have went ahead and push y'all back. But since y'all at 7, I let it slide this week.
No doubt, no doubt. But like what Fred was saying, I like the fighting scenes. Like you said, the end scene, definitely I like that one. And just the whole build up, because like I said, they had a lot of like, when they rushed the house, I thought that whole sequence where like
Right,
the federal agents or that agency that came to their house
right,
and how what's her name, Megan was kind of protecting them, even though she wasn't in body form at that point. She was like just controlling like electronic devices. So I
right.
thought that was a pretty cool like build up how they did that. Then she put her in that little small robot. Then they started gaining more trust, and she was like, "All right, we'll build you a body and stuff, because we do need your help and stuff." So I like how they showed the progression of like the AI along with the human family, the trust and stuff. So it's like
Right.
everybody was kind of developing with each other. So no, I thought it was a pretty cool movie, man. How they kind of merged the two, comedy and sci-fi. I thought that was a little different. But I do see
Mhm.
what Fred, you're kind of looking at it a certain way because we like the action sci-fi, but I still
Right,
had to give this one credit for like putting together a sequel that was good and then also merging the comedy in it because that
right,
is different. So that's why I gave them more points. I was like, okay, man. Typically I like the action, shit blowing up,
right.
to get the Terminator vibes. But I was like, nah, this was a cool mixture, and I just like how they put the female in there and how she was kind of honorary with it because I do like that. So
Well, at the beginning, and like you said, if you saw the first one, you realize that the way Megan was made, it was kind of basically in so many ways for her to be able to have a sister. That's why she always had that. Those two always, her and Katie always had that connection because it's been like that from the very first movie. But then when Amelia, when you see her first come on the scene and realize that she is a government prodigy and that she was made not just to be a spy, but just a flat out killing weapon, you knew right then and there Megan was going to have to evolve. And that's one of the reasons why they said 2.0. It's not because it's the second movie, it's the simple fact that they literally had to remake her all over again. The biggest thing of it is that they put that chip in her, but as far as her body, she was made taller, stronger. I mean, they was adding things. They even put some kind of explosive arm on
yeah.
there and everything. So I mean, this was like very technical, and they even flat out said, it had to be Gina and her team to be able to pull this off because nobody else would be able to pull off something like that to be able to go up against Amelia when she was supposed to be the ultimate weapon. And so, and you knew that because even adults were scared of her. And like I said, she looked like a grown woman. And so Megan had to be able to rise to the occasion. So I appreciate that part and everything. But once again, I mean, it was a big leap going from the first movie to the second movie. And so, like I said, you almost saw this basically from the first movie. It's like a kids' movie, something that a bunch of family would get around and be able to see. And then at the end, you'd be like, "Oh man, she kills? What's going on?" But it's almost like Chucky or the Gremlins or something like that. So then all of a sudden, when it comes out to Megan 2, now it's you flipping the script, and so now you see all these different phases of Megan and all the different body parts that she had to be able to be until she became the ultimate person to be able to go up against Amelia. So in a sense, it just goes right into Arnold Schwarzenegger, really. I mean, and his movies, where you had to get the ultimate machine to go against the machine in order to be able to win. And so that's where I was coming from it. And so I just kind of wish there was more. And I mean, I understand it was supposed to be sci-fi, but to me, they put more comedy in it and less sci-fi. And really, I wish there was more action or more action to come. And so that's one of the reasons why I couldn't really go higher. But I do like what you guys are saying. It's just at the end of the day, like I said before, there's no way I would pay hard cash money for this because, like I said, that you would have to really come all the way up in order to be able to, be this. I mean, this is you talking about like being like the Terminator or something like that in order to be able to pay hard cash. You know what I mean? And I understand it's AI, but they're also robots. You know what I mean? So I mean, I kind of hope there would be a number 3. That would be pretty smooth. That would be.
I mean, I'll watch it. I just don't know how much. Well, I did like the part where they like they linked up in Gemma's head.
Right.
So maybe there's some way like there's a connection or something. How she was kind of controlling a lot of stuff. So maybe they could play around with something like that. Maybe that's the future type thing.
With
So
AI, you never know because I mean, it's always constantly evolving.
well, they introduced it in the movie, so I wonder like since the fact that she did kind of connect with her head, if there's going to be
Right.
like a connection moving forward or something like that. And even like you said, Amelia, if Megan was able to find a way out, you know what I'm saying? There's possibly a way that she could have found a way out, like you said, and they're gonna end up battling again. But as
Right.
far as like the changing anything, I wouldn't have changed anything because I like how it kind of played out. Like you just don't know, like you said. So sometimes I don't like people leaving too much obvious stuff
Hmm.
because it's my thing is like if you're gonna create a third version, just surprise us. Like you said, I think go to that movie and then have her pop out. She found a way out and she's coming to get them all and stuff. She's coming to get Megan for that round 3. So, but all right, man, we're gonna jump into the rating again. So, of course, if anybody wants to change their rating, stay the same or go down even, this is your time. So we're gonna start with Mason on that. You going up, down, or staying the same
I'm
from
gonna
your
stick
original score?
it out at 7.5.
Okay, so Mason staying the same. Casey Fred.
Leaving it at a 6.
Okay, he's staying at a 6. I'm gonna go up a little bit, man. I think I'm gonna go to a 7.4. It's not a major jump, but I had to give a little bit
So
of
you
more.
can't match her. You just got.
I'm gonna go to a 7.4, where I had to give it a couple more props for putting together a good sequel. That was good. And I think they should send Casey Fred some movie tickets to make him go to the movie theater to go watch it, since he's wilding out.
Hey, it better be Terminator. That's a classic. There you go.
Nah, no doubt. But all right, y'all, man. Check out the movie. Let us know what you think. And keep tuning in. Peace.
Peace.